100 miles south of what will be Boston. He had a well-guarded stronghold, vampires and werewolves as well. From the smells, I was guessing 50 or so. Seemed like a party in mind. I didn't know what it was that I didn't know what I was walking into. He had mustered over 120 strong, and as well as 10 witches. Powerful witches. There was one in particular that was exceptionally strong, and young. So young. My conscience got the best of me as well as my curiosity, given she was scared shitless after she watched me tearing everyone in the room apart. What truly worried her, though, was that even though they were so powerful, I had learned to basically ignore their own personal magical effects on me. The witches all ran, except her. She was thought to be their chosen one, the new lead sister. She almost killed herself just trying to slow me down. I knocked her unconscious and went after the big fish I was there for. John had barricaded himself behind several werewolves and what he felt was a mystically charmed door that I couldn't open. Sadly, the wolves fled as I walked into the room. Guess they could guess what was going to happen next. I don't think John realized his big bad door was out of juice with the witches gone. Smashed through it, spilling splinters flying through the air. A few even got lucky to manage to lodge themselves in John's flesh. Worked well for tracking him, since he tried to escape through a secret exit. I followed him through the trail of blood left in the snow. The smell of the others was too much for the moment to track him. He managed to make it into the thicket, thinking I would lose his trail. He made it far enough, though, that his scent was nauseating almost with fear. I snuck up on him. As he tried to move through the snow and brushed away without noise, I grabbed him by his throat, pressed him against a mighty oak tree. Just before ripping off a branch to kill him with, he looked at me and asked me why. The question puzzled me a moment, and then I came with an answer. Because in this world there needs to be balance, and monsters like you have no place in that balance. Unsatisfied, he asked me why again. I tore down a branch and placed the sharp edge at his chest, while I held him there against the tree. Just before pushing it through his heart, I told him my final response. After 500 some years on this earth, do you know what I have learned? I've learned that it's damn easy to be a devil, but it's so much harder not. I shoved the branch through him so hard that it left him staked in the tree. I watched the life leave his body and I returned to the house. The young witch was still out cold on the floor. The other witches back trying to flee with her. They begged for mercy, thinking I was going to destroy them. I was merely back to make sure the young one was okay. I came to find the vampires had been holding certain members of their families hostage in order to use them against me. And that they never needed help to get them back. I promised them that I would return their brethren, and that this would be the new place for their new covenant. As I was leaving, though, the young witch had come back too. She stopped me before I could leave, just to ask me something that hadn't been asked in over 400 years. She asked me, "What's your name, Hunter?" Surprised a bit, I had to pause. It was almost as if I'd forgotten it myself. I looked her deep in her eyes, and I said, "My name is Nerois, but you may call me Nero." And that is chapter 1. The rough draft. I didn't realize how rough until I started reading it live. You're welcome.